Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Comic Art Live update. Lots of fun tonight. We're going to be talking about the latest Hake's auction. So welcome one and all to our show tonight. It's been an eventful weekend. Got a lot of stuff done here around the house, so I'm ready to get the heck out of Dodge, and get this office put behind me, packed up, and moved down to Florida. As you can see, I've still got the Sonic the Hedgehog sign back there lit up. We needed a little fluorescent color back there, and so that's what we've got going. Hey, Matt, nice to see you. And Ron, David, Alfredo, Mr. Easy Go Lucky, all of my usual guys out there, Rick Welch as well. So, hey, let me get the Hakes guys in here, and we're going to talk about their most recent auction. I'll bring the most important guy in the green room out first. Hey, Alex, how are you doing?
Hello, everybody. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, no, good to see you as well. Let me bring in the other two gentlemen anxiously awaiting things, Kelly and Sean.
In order of importance, I see.
Headliner.
Well, I know how to do what the pecking order is over there at Hake, so keep everybody happy though. So how's everybody doing? It was a very good auction, right? I mean, I watched it. I wasn't able to watch it live because it was going on during a show that I had going on that evening. But I know that there were a lot of sad people in the chat during that night because of people saying that they missed out on the Star Wars strips and things like that. So I know there were a lot of people that are regulars in our audience that were following the auction and bidding on stuff. And like I said, several disappointed folks on a few of the very choice pieces out there that they were hoping to get.
Yeah, but it was very happy consigners. I will, do the flip side of that.
Right.
Exactly. 2.7 million. Very strong auction. Actually, more bidders this auction than our previous cataloged auction in March. Across the board, strong. We'll talk mainly about art, but across the board, strong prices in every category that we offer. So, very encouraged by what we saw. Yes, gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was very strong. New bidders as well, which is always good to see.
Yeah, do you guys track those kind of metrics too, just to see if you're bringing in new customers and that kind of thing?
Yeah, we can run those reports as well. If that lets us know, it gets deep into the data. We can go on that for forever, but yes.
But new bidders from CAF as well. That was evident.
Well, that's what I like to hear. That means I'm doing my job, right? So no, that's good. And Alex, you have a CAF gallery now too.
As promised, it's in its infancy, but I've got a dozen pieces or so. So hopefully, I can put more up, and by the time that your life is back to normal, then we can do the interview that we talked about. But yeah, I've got to start.
Good. But I know a lot of people were interested in the Star Wars dailies, and I know that was kind of the first set of lots that we were going to talk about. But I mean, I'm sure you saw a lot of activity on those as the night wore on. I mean, I wasn't able to watch it live, so I assume the bidding went later than, or probably about where you would expect. I know that as the bidding gets extended as bids are placed.
Yeah, both sessions, both nights went to like around 11:30, I think. So a little longer than normal. And yes, the strips were definitely active. Many bidders, some on just a single piece and some trying to get all of them. They ended up not all going to the same person. So that was interesting. But our strategy going into this, and Kelly can elaborate on this, do we offer them as a set? Do we offer them individually? There was some debate back and forth, and we finally said, offer them individually. If somebody wants them all, they can bid on them all. But there are going to be those bidders that only can go after one, right? And that's sort of what we saw. Then we saw some bidding on all, some bidding on just one or a few, some Star Wars guys, some comic art guys, actually some comic strip syndicate guys. So it was a pretty good mix of bidders.
Yeah.
So this first one was the high one of $46,726. That's a pretty good price for that.
It's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, going into this, our estimate, if we went by the high end of the estimate, we would have been at technically 120,000, right? And so combined, it was 171. So definitely exceeded our expectations. Consigner was very happy, and So, and the one that brought the most is the first one of the 6 that we had. The other 6, obviously, as we spoke before, in the hands of Lucas to go nowhere. So we weren't sure if this one or the one following with Princess would be the winner, but this one ended up being the one that brought the most.
Yeah, I think this. I mean, in my opinion, this one was the more impressive of the two, but it's hard to say. But I like the first one the best myself. As far as like putting you right into the movie, that one was fantastic. And obviously, being the current record holder for any, right? This is the record holder for any Star Wars syndicate art period, or Star Wars.
No, by far, yeah,
by far, and close to Star Wars original art, except for maybe a cover or two.
Covers,
right? Yes, but yeah, definitely a record holder for sure.
Yeah, no, they were fantastic. You knew they were going to do well. It was just a question of how well. So the 46, 41, and then the other 4 went for 23, 21, 19, and 18 and a half. So, I mean, that's, very, very strong prices for those pieces, but they were a piece of history, like we all knew. So that's great. And like, I think your strategy was the right way to go. If you would have put them all together as a single lot, that would have limited the number of bidders on it for sure. That that would have been there at the end, and while one person doesn't get to own them all, that's kind of the nice thing. It is, you at least get a couple people that get to own these pieces, and there's nothing wrong with that. So,
well, the one person that we don't reveal identities, right, of course, but the one person that stepped up on these and won at least one, if not two, I was surprised because of the strip art that they bought from us before was so far removed from this content. So that was interesting to see somebody that we didn't expect get into the mix with people that we did anticipate bidding.
Right. Well, again, sometimes certain things just strike you, right, and make you want to get them. And these were unique. I mean, if anybody's a Star Wars fan and an art collector, is going to be turned on by these pieces, would love to own them, and if you have the money, then that's then you can make a play for them. But I mean, because who wouldn't? I mean, we're all Star Wars fans for sure, and art collectors. So at the end of the day, you want to have a piece like this, in your collection. So that's good. But it's great to know that there are people still kind of discovering different parts of the hobby or different things that you wouldn't think they'd be collecting. I mean, I think as collectors, I've talked about this a lot. People's the things that they're interested in change over time. If you don't evolve as a collector and find new things to collect, it's going to get pretty boring after a while. So I'm sure, whoever got a couple of those pieces, they were pretty excited about it.
Sean is a Star Wars fan. I'm sure you want to chime in, correct?
I'll tell you what, man, the main thing, this is the Dink Dink page, right? That's what those guys are on the left. I can't tell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's a Star Wars fan. Sure.
Yeah. So anyways, the big debate for me was, like you said, splitting it up or not. It was the same debate with that Zek Captain America book. We had the whole book too a few years back. What do? You want to keep the historical context together as a connoisseur of the art, but as a collector, you're like, oh, I'm never going to have a shot at it if you do that, let alone other collectors in my same position. So I think ultimately the best choice was to spread them out. And then I think that you take the historical context out of it. It's not like a book where it's not intact anymore. They were already split up 6 to begin with. So I think that dividing it up over multiple collectors and giving, multiple people a shot at owning a piece of Star Wars history was the way to go. So I'm glad I hashed out that way. I'd like to say I knew the pricing too, but everyone's an expert when you're trying to sell your art to them in the day after an auction. So I had no idea I figured 25 grand each. So maybe when it was all hashed out, it was close, but seeing them go for close to $50,000 is really cool. And I agree with Kelly. I think that first one with Vader choking that dude was the best one, as far as my personal opinion. I like them all, but that one was just iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, congrats to all the winners on those lots.
Yeah.
Let's see. So swinging around here to that Marvel Premier Iron Fist page by Gil Kane.
I'll chime in first on this one then, since I wasn't too talkative, Tommy, in the last one. I had up to the last couple minutes of a friend of mine was winning this one. And I said, and he's like, he actually had remorse. He's like, man, it's a lot of money. I'm like, you're crazy. It's going for a steal right now, man. You count your blessings. Then I got down to like a minute. I don't know what it was. It was super low on time. and somebody came out, and then there were 2 or 3 bids after him. And
Mm-hmm.
after he breathed a sigh of relief to his wallet, he was like, "Oh, I wish I would have won it." So you cannot. This is Marvel Museum stuff right here. Anything that's first appearance of a character by their creator, which that's redundant, but first appearance with the character in costume in 2 different panels, along with the duotone, the shade. I just think it's a super cool panel. And I whoever won it, which again, not naming names, it's a true piece of history. It's something special. So it's nice segue from the historic Star Wars stuff into another historic Bronze Age Marvel piece.
Yeah, and this one just finished over $20,000. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just over the estimate.
Well, not bad. No, it is a great page, and yeah, when we talked about it before, you knew it was going to do well, but yeah, that's so your friend was lamenting the missed auction though, Sean.
Yeah, like I said, estimates are a silly thing. Like, man, you're getting a steal right now, and who knows what's going to do the next time this pops up, if it ever does again. Because once somebody has something like this, it gets black hole. This is iconic Marvel. So
yeah, well, first appearances are tough. Once people get them, they don't like to let go of them. There's a lot of first appearance collectors out there these days. We talk a lot about that in their CAF updates and whatnot as well. So. I think it's cool, and I'm sure the guy who got it or gal is thrilled to have it in their collection.
And what's Sean? We found like 1 or 2 other pages, Sean. 1 other page.
Just 1 other page at auction. Yeah.
At auction, right?
From this issue. Yeah.
Yeah, I only know of 1 or 2 more at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I sometimes you'll see Gil Kane cover prelims. It's just hard to find Gil Kane Iron Fist art at all.
Little
right. Yeah.
That made putting an estimate on it, that process a little more difficult. I mean, when we're doing comic books, graded comic books, all day long it's easy. You have apples to apples comparisons of multiple of the same issue in the same grade over and over again. You don't always have that with art, and then it comes down to comps or gut feeling. But we've always been an auction house that has put estimates on items no matter what it is. So it's a sort of, give or take. That's why it's good to have multiple people on staff well versed on these items. We also reach out to our consultants, our specialists, other experts, and kind of pull information and then come up with our estimates and try to be conservative too. There's no harm in going over an estimate, right?
That's right. Of course not. Sure, I'll try to protect the seller for sure. And I'll say this: putting my fan cap back on, as a new collector, the estimates were a big part of me learning and kind of getting an idea of things and seeing what was sticking to the estimates and stuff that got blown out of the water. Why? Is it because the one market segment might be dying out and those collectors are selling off rather than buying, versus something that's hot or reemerging? So it's definitely all part of the overall art and science of the hobby.
No, very true. I mean, a page like this is hard to set an estimate on just because there isn't a lot of precedence. A lot to go along with it,
and it's gorgeous.
All right, let's see here. I'm moving over to that Al Plastino Superman cover.
Yeah. So speaking of,
or not cover, I said that the last time.
Splash page. Yeah.
Yes, title page. Yes, sorry about that.
But well over the estimate. Again, this was a tough one. Kelly and I both did research and try and find a comp of a splash page by him of Superman like this. So not much to go on. And we weren't sure of the content. It's a great looking page, right? But it's not prime Superman villain or other characters or whatever. But it was just I think the rarity and just the clean, bold artwork that really pushed us over the estimate. And I will say that a person who was not on our radar saw this result. I'm negotiating with them right now to get another piece of art of this caliber for the next auction. So we will, once it shows up, we will let the CAF family know if and when that happens.
Oh, good. So they saw a good result, and so they offered you up something on consignment. That's fantastic.
Correct.
Well, that's where we're at as a market too. People are seeing, pieces of art from books that they own go for record prices or really strong pieces, prices as well. And that's what's been shaking a lot of the artwork out onto the market the last couple of years, is just seeing those strong results all around. And that's a good thing. I mean, we're seeing artwork that we haven't seen on out there and available in a long time. So yeah, I mean, if it is definitely a seller's market right now.
And if this piece comes through, and I'll verify it with the seller, but I'm pretty sure never has it come to auction, and it could go back to sometime in the 60s, possibly, that he even bought it. So we're talking about a very deep hidden gem.
Yeah,
this piece is that way, isn't it? This is
yeah. As far as I know, I think it purchased sometime in the 70s and held on to. Yeah.
Right. So first time at open market at least in
Well, there is definitely something to fresh to market that a lot of collectors like. They like seeing stuff that hasn't been shopped around.
Yeah.
There's always I always used to feel that fresh to market didn't really have a ton of clout, but it's a trigger for a lot of people to see something that you haven't seen in a while come out there. To me, it's like good art should be good art, but sometimes that isn't the case, right? You might have sometimes a good piece of art could just kind of slide the wayside if it's been out there and shopped around, sold 3 or 4 times in the last 12 to 18 months. But you get a piece that hasn't been out there in 25 years, and the interest is usually going to stick on that piece.
Yeah. And it's surprising you say that about how many times a piece can be sold. As we're doing research, sometimes we're shocked and we'll say, the same piece of art is sold 5 times in the last 2 years into 3 different places.
Right.
And many times not for much more, so it's, I think there is something to be said about something that is fresh to the market, just that you haven't seen it. And that's a good thing.
Yeah. You're happy it still survives at all.
That's true.
I think, and even fresh to the market with comic art is more prominent than other areas, because other areas you can say a comic book or something that has multiples is fresh to the market. Comic art fresh to the market is so unique, and that's what makes it different in this particular category. It makes it that all the different, I think.
Well, look, it did with the Star Wars strips, right? I mean, how many people didn't know that they existed at all? Yes, they were reprinted in a couple of books, but nobody knew that they were still, or many people didn't know they were still.
They didn't even know they wanted them. People didn't even realize this is something that they needed to have until they saw it and became educated. But it all worked out.
Yeah, Marcus got Cool in the Gang stuck in my head now. So
I know. I saw the same thing and I thought, oh gosh, you should have had some musical notes around that quote. And Alberto makes a good point too. That's some of the reasons why a lot of people don't share their artwork on CAF, right? Even if it's in your collection and you're not selling it, a lot of people avoid putting some of their artwork on CAF or putting any of their artwork on CAF, just because at the end of the day, they feel like putting it out there, and if people see it a lot, that might like damage the investment. And I would argue that's not the case for all good art, right? I mean, if it's a choice piece by Jim Lee, it's still going to sell really well. If you had it in your CAF gallery for 10 or 20 years or not. And even more so if a piece of art's been in somebody's collection for 20 years.
I was going to say that. Yeah, it can be a flip of the flip side is they want it even more every year.
Yeah.
Right, they've seen it for 20 years in a certain collector's CAF gallery, and they finally decide to let it go. That's your first chance in 20 years to buy that artwork. Doesn't matter if you've seen it on CAF all that time. But sure, I do think that plays a big role. I've talked about this a lot, that half of the people who are regular CAF users don't have a CAF gallery. They're there just to buy, sell, communicate, maybe work out trades, but they don't share their art on CAF. And that's kind of where it is. And I always felt like that's the biggest reason why a lot of people hold off from sharing their artwork on CAF, just to keep people guessing.
Right.
All right. So this was Alex. This was a favorite piece of yours.
Past this one. This one didn't. This is something that Alex does not want to talk about.
No, this was and always will be one of my favorite, not just of this auction, but I talked to the winning bidder, the new owner, and told him that in my 37 years at Hake, this is one of my all-time favorite pieces Period.
Yeah.
Not one of the most valuable, not one of the most that got the most media attention. I just think it's one of the coolest pieces that we've ever offered.
Yeah.
Those middle two panels are stellar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it is a great page. I'm sure they're very, very happy.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, he is.
And what was let's see. Oh, the final price $14,278. So yeah,
This
right in the
is,
middle of your estimate on it.
Right in the estimate. This is one where we had a pretty good idea of where it was going to land, and it landed right there. Yeah. Yeah, great. Just a killer page. Even though Alex has been talking it up since it got here, and before it got here, he's been talking about it, and he's still talking about it. But it's a really great page.
Yeah, no, it's a doozy. I love this one.
I talked it up so much because I landed it, so I had to stick it to Kelly. He's the consignment manager, and here the president of the company has to land one of the best pieces of art of the auction. I mean, seems a little odd, but we'll work on that.
One of the best pieces.
One of. I can.
You guys aren't competitive with that, are you?
I can take credit for every piece in the auction, and you can't say anything about it.
You did hire me, yes, that's true. So that's fine.
Oh man. All right, what do we got next here? The Arvell Jones All-Star Squadron 44 cover. This one went for just under $5,200, so a little bit over your high estimate on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that speaks to the cover market in general. 20th century covers, people covet it.
Yeah,
it's a cool one.
I love the ink work on that. It makes the characters pop.
and when you finally you said that that's all her hair, that's just that's really great too.
If you see, if you scroll up to the top, you can sort of see, right? That's all her hair kind of.
That's all her hair. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice one. So a good price for that. All-Star Squadron 44. Let's see.
Always looking for covers. Always looking for covers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you guys are already taking consignments for the next auction.
I've been taking consignments for like a month now. Yeah.
Since San Diego.
Pretty much. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Hey, I finally met you in person. That's right.
That's right. That's right. I've got a few buttons
on.
As a testament to having met you guys.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, but we never stop not taking consignments, right? It just depends on what auction they're going to get slotted in. So at any time, feel free to reach out to Kelly, to Sean, and we can direct you into what is the next auction that we'll go into.
Yeah.
There you go. You can contact you guys right through Hakes.com.
Yes. HAKES. This is great. This one I landed, by the way.
You say so.
I thought it was a great. Actually, I didn't even know what it looked like. He just said, "I'm sending it," and then it showed up, and he said, "She's in every panel. You'll love it." And it showed up, and it is fantastic.
Look at the marshmallows on her arms and legs. Really well done.
You weren't even here the day it arrived, right? Because Todd and I talked about, priced it, sent you a photo, and then
right.
Yeah.
No, it's a gorgeous page. Now is that it's on Duotint, right? So that's how it's got the tonal effects and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
You utilize that a lot on the Namor run.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. I've seen it a lot on the Namor pieces, but yeah, I don't recall seeing it on here. But this is on a She-Hulk page, but it is awesome. I mean, I knew this was going to go well. I mean, She-Hulk's hot, not just because of the the show coming out and everything, but it's kind of at the low end of the burn market, but it's starting to move as well. So yeah, you knew this one was going to do well. Oh, Craft Tint. I always never get the right names right.
I was getting mixed up too. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good page. Very good page. And what did it go for? Oh, just under 5. So right at your high valuation on it.
Yeah, it's a great burn duotone page. Yeah, thanks, Timothy. Great page.
Well, yeah, thanks, Kelly, for getting that one in the auction.
Yes.
But and he says he didn't even know what it looked like. We don't really know what we're going to get from this person at all, right? This is the guy that sort of just sends a random sort.
There are some. This is, I mean, not to get, but there, back and forth. But there are some people that just, I know it's going to be good because I know their collection goes deep, and that does happen. It's sort of it's very rarely where the packages are like Christmas, and that's really is like Christmas. They don't tell me an issue number, a page number. They don't tell me anything. I can't even look it up. I have to.
But if they're a regular client that's consigned with you before you, even if they don't send you a scan or something, you tend to know you're going to get a quality piece.
Very rarely am I not impressed. So yeah, it's and actually there's another package coming soon, very similar, where we spoke 8 months ago about it, and it's finally whatever reason finally sending it, and we'll see. We hope it's. I'm not asking everyone to do that, but please send us scans, photos before you send in consignments. Talk to us, talk about rates, all that. But sometimes it works out. Roll the dice.
Sure.
But if you do send a box of unsolicited art and it's great, I'll take credit for it. And if it's no good, Kelly landed it.
Sean.
Sean's not even in the quick. Now look, he just
left.
Sean just couldn't take it anymore.
We offended him.
We didn't get started.
He'll be back. So this is that Marshall Rogers role-playing game artwork, as well a cover of some kind for a module, I believe. Yep. So, and this one, I forgot. I should be checking these prices before I highlight them. $4,500, so a little under the low end, but gaming artists. I don't know. Gaming art is awesome. I love anything that's tied to role-playing games or board games, anything there. And when you get a DC or a Marvel kind of characters in it as well, it makes it all the more fun. So this is a really nice piece. I thought it was interesting, all that the brushwork that they were putting in, just testing out their ink lines around the outside edge. You wouldn't, that's not, you'll usually see that on the back of a board, but seeing it on the front of a board is just is very interesting. It's not normal.
There's apparently a storm where Sean is, so he'll come back when he can.
All right. Yeah, it's actually blowing through here. He's not. Well, he's about an hour from where I'm at, but it is kind of lightning and thundering outside. So hopefully I won't drop out. But Rick Welch is right. Starfire lights up any room. Very true. And like Mr. Easy Go Lucky just said too, I think it's cool too, because typically you get that kind of stuff, like I said, on the back of a board, but clearly, they were just they knew they had room to work, and so they just kind of tinkered around on the outside of it. I think that's awesome. That's why we collect. At the end of the day, this is your one and only piece, right? So it's fun. You take them with the coffee stains or the mistakes, the whiteout, just because that's all you got. But it is really unique to see that kind of brush testing done on the front side of a board. It's just never the norm. Oh, that's a Rogers thing, says Marcus. Okay, Marcus. Well, you would know. I know you've seen quite a few of Rogers pieces in your collecting days, so I'm not as familiar. But now you make me wonder. I should go on CAF and do a few searches just to see if I can find other examples of them doing that. So, all right. So
Marcus, do you know if Rogers did other work on this gaming series? And that's something we didn't really look into, if this was a one-off cover for this or if he did some of the other DC role-playing games at the time.
Well, we will find out. Marcus is a wealth of artist and knowledge in the hobby. Let's see. So next up, we've got some of the Superman Kurt Swan stuff. So this was a near complete story. Let's see, it was from 284. And it went for just under $3,500, so kind of in the middle of your the estimate on this one. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, really interesting pencil and ink work on this one.
Yeah. See, and Swan art's still affordable. At the end of the day, I know I still have not added a piece to my collection. It will happen. If I were a DC guy, it would already be done. But yeah. I'm surprised still at the affordability of Kurt Swan Superman art. So Marcus says he's not familiar with the games art side of things for our Marshall Rogers.
Got it.
Oh, and Sean's back.
Sorry,
hey, Sean.
Sorry about that all. It's not like the thunderstorms are moving down the street now.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad it's passed.
The people in the comment section didn't even notice you were gone.
Yeah, it's typical.
Well, if I was ever looking for work, Alex, you're making it so Hake's I'd have to have thick skin to work at Hake's.
Oh, absolutely.
I should have had a comment prepared. I didn't.
Oh man, we don't have enough time, Bill. There's not enough time.
Oh man. I'm sure the HR department, well, do you have an HR department?
We do, but fortunately it's in another state, so it doesn't count.
I was going to say, maybe you were
I'm serious about that. Yeah. Our HR is in Maryland. We're in Pennsylvania.
Doesn't all right.
Count.
So
doesn't cross state lines.
Right. Yeah. That's yeah. Next.
Right. Exactly. So here's another one from issue 284. This one went for 28.5. Again, kind of in the mid to low end on the estimates, but again, it's back to that. I'll never understand why Swan's art is where it's at. I mean, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but because his stuff is just fabulous. It really is. The next time the Hake's auction comes around, I have to have a piece of Kurt Swan art in my collection. If it's not from you, I've got to find one somewhere because
there should be stupid. More from him, right, Alex?
I hope so. Whether or not it's in time for the next auction or one after that, there will be more, and there will be more Swan whenever it shows up. Yeah. And unlike the Star Wars strips where we broke them up, this and the previous near complete story we kept together just because there were some pages that weren't as strong as others. It just made more sense to kind of keep this as a near complete story. We could have easily broken them up as well, but what follows is, then we had another handful of single pages. So that was sort of the mindset here is we had 2 near complete stories and then a selection of single pages.
Right. No, I mean, well, in here it makes sense, right? Like you were saying, you've got some mid-tier pages and with some good pages as well. So it's like, I think the collector would probably be a lot happier being able to buy it as a lot, even if it's missing a few pages to get the complete story, versus having to go after each of these pages individually. Get a little exhausting. So for this, no, I think it makes a whole lot of sense to keep those together.
I hope he finds the missing pages.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they got to be out there.
Sean, it's a spoiler. They're in the next auction. Should have said anything.
Sean, you're ruining it.
We're gonna start everyone at $5,000 just for that person has to.
Right. So you've got to. There was a marketing ploy in there for not going.
It was unintentional marketing.
All right. So this next one went for almost $1,300. This one was a really really awesome page here.
Yeah, this was the most expensive of the single pages we offer, but really probably the best one, depending on your opinion. It's certainly a dynamic one.
It was my favorite. So not all Swan art is affordable, Bill.
Right. Well, but still at $1,300.
What you consider affordable, but yes, right.
I mean, what year is this? 74. I mean, it's just I mean, still, you're right. But it's a solid page. I mean, definitely the best example in this set. One of the better pages I've probably ever seen from Kurt Swan. So very nice. Very, very nice. And a good price. I'm sure the collector who got this one is going to be very happy. And hopefully it winds up on CAF.
Yes.
Okay, moving over. This is a piece I don't think we looked at before. This was a Donald Duck Sunday from 1955. Yeah, this one went for $3,000, so over your estimates on it.
Yeah, outside of the Star Wars strips, we didn't cover the syndicate art, which we have every time as well. And I could have easily put this on the list because it is a great example of his art on Donald Duck. And I think that's what took it over the estimate. I mean, there's enough comps out there that 1 to 2 is where we certainly thought it was going to fall. But I think the content of it, the gag, really took it to the level that it went to. So
it means almost no words entirely. I love that. I mean, until the very end. Yeah. Yeah, very very physical gag. I like it. Yeah.
It's a great strip, that's for sure. I didn't look through all your lots, so I hadn't even seen this one, but it really is gorgeous.
Yeah.
By the way, welcome to the hobby, Lyle. It's the learning curve is steep, but it's also fun. So
every day, learning
no
more.
shame in learning. I make mistakes literally every time I'm on the show. So we can learn together, buddy.
Not just the technical ones either.
You
Right?
know, you're just lucky you don't have people that point them out. You know, when you're
What are you talking about? You do.
What?
I was gonna say Bill's already compiling an all mistake Sean Tan episode.
I'm gonna have a
blooper reel about the stunts.
No,
Exactly.
we would never do that. We would never.
Is Lois
never
Lane
point-
on this artwork? I don't know.
That's what they named the
Secretary
character.
anywhere. Hey, I would have made the same mistake, Sean. I am not a DC guy either, so I'm just glad you made it before I did. So.
I fell on the sword for you.
But no, this is it really is gorgeous. So you know, and I'm a big Disney fan in general. So so this is, you know, classic period. Everything about it, the art's classic, the lettering's, you know, gorgeous. Even just that stand still stupid, you know, at the end. I mean, it's just a really, really, you know, just beautiful piece of art. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, getting over to some Perez here. So this was from Creatures on the Loose 36. This one went for $23.36. So just above your estimates on that one. And you know, this is a fun period in Perez's career, right? I mean, you know, he had a lot of different inkers on some of his stuff. So the detail was there, but it wasn't like, it was just before you were in that point where you're just blown away, really blown away by the amount of detail in his pieces. But the artwork is still just fantastic. And he always got put on some, you know, really interesting stuff in this period. You know, he did work on Inhumans and Creatures on the Loose like this. So this is a cool page. I really like this one a lot.
A lot of contrasting pages.
Yeah.
To light in this auction. I love all of them. That's nice use of the medium in general.
Who inked this page?
Let's see. Frank McLaughlin. No, I mean, this is pretty good. I mean, I've seen some, you know, early stuff of his where the inking maybe doesn't match probably the level of detail that he was putting into the work. So it's just not the same. This is really well done.
Yeah, McLaughlin was slick.
Yeah, I have an Inhumans page set aside with Mr. Berkey, and it's gorgeous. The details there, but you know, the inking's not the same, but it's like it's a Perez Inhumans page. So it's like I want it. I really, you know, even if I don't think the inking is up to Perez's pencil work, it's like I still want the page really bad. So you know, I'm gonna get it no matter what. But no, this is great storytelling and. Very fun page, and $2,300. So that's a nice pickup there for somebody.
Did you
So
bring?
you think you're gonna?
Go, Kel.
I was going to ask him a question outside of art. Who are you going to miss more, Bill, Sean, or Mike leaving Ohio?
He has to deal with Berkey every week. He only gets to see
Oh, well, I guess right.
Well, the question probably is who's going to miss me more, Berkey or Sean? And I would say it's probably missed. Oh yeah. Berkey's. I'm not going to say he's going to be shedding a tear, but you know, he and I hang out a lot, and I do a lot of work for him. We're going to I'm doing my first like mini con in Columbus this upcoming weekend, and Berkey's setting up to sell some art. So when I was over his place yesterday, he was like, "Bill, how about digging through some stuff and finding me some stuff you think people will want to buy?" So that's the kind of help I give that guy. Is, you know, so I literally spent 2 hours digging through some bins, you know, knowing that there's certain collectors are going to be there, and I'm like, well, you know, these are going to be good pages to bring. And I saw some people said, you know, they wanted John Sable, Mike Grell artwork, so I dug out like at least 20 pages. Mike, you know, just has them scattered in 4 or 5 bins, you know, throughout his office. So I just started setting stuff aside. So I think Berkey is the one who's losing out the most by my not being up here as much as I have been. I've been a big help for him.
Right on.
So,
right on.
Yeah.
I see.
I saw you fish.
Mr. Fish is in the audience. All right. So Todd McFarlane Infinity Ink page. This is, you know, definitely a strong price for it. $2,100. I mean, everybody loves McFarlane, and this was a really nice page. I remember we've talked about this one a lot when we did the preview. Just all the characters on there makes this a very, very desirable page. I mean, McFarlane did a lot of Infinity Ink work out there, and they're on the market. But this is a strong price for this page. So congrats to you guys and the consigner and to the guy or gal who ended up owning this piece, because I mean it's a really nice pickup.
Yeah, Infinity plus JSA is what did it for me, man.
Yeah,
the mix of characters.
Nope, this is a good one. Just reading the tip. He's eating your lunch for free, Bill. Yes, he is, Fish. Thank you for that. For sticking up for me. But yeah, this is a nice one. Definitely a
as far as partial splash, Sean, would you consider this a partial splash? Are you into that world?
Yeah, I'd probably consider it a full splash, because it's really the inlay style of him kind of playing with the dynamics of the page. So to me, it's a splash page. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it has panels.
But the argument too with the panels in it that it's not a true splash, but
right,
it has that feel for sure.
Yeah,
right. I mean, they could have broken up this page in any way with all that dialogue, right? They didn't need to do one large panel. They could have broken this thing up into 9 total panels across the page. But by the way they laid it out, they're really, to me, this is it should be considered a splash page, or somebody would be, it's a semi-splash page. But as far as definitions go, splash page is still what I would call this one.
And I think that the inlaid panels, especially that last one, I think they kind of boost the whole page overall.
It's all surrounding around the content of the scene. Is just sort of like I don't know, zoom in on everyone's face. Yeah, that's very it's
a
cool.
Cinematic quality to it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, and moving right along. So we got the Captain America page by Frank Robbins, inked by Bruce Berry. This one went for just over $2,000, so about double your estimate on that one.
Captain who?
You know a thing or two about Captain America, don't you, Sean?
I do, and you know what? This immediately screams to me. It has an Atomic Age feel to it. I know he's more Golden Age, and technically Golden Age, Atomic Age, same thing, but it feels more Atomic Age than Golden Age to me. That panel right there with Caps right there, I'm pointing to like an idiot. What is that? The 6th panel?
Where you're pointing at the screen.
I do that all the time. What is that? I think it's the 6th panel. No, it's the 4th panel.
This one right here.
Yes, that whole thing is vintage Frank. The way he did that, it's great.
Yeah, no, it's a very nice page. So this was from issue 192.
Mm-hmm.
No, very good, very good. And it's a strong page. Everybody wants Cap with a shield, so you got that there. And
from the 70s too. That's the sought after era.
Right. So 75. Well, very nice, very very nice. So congrats on that one to the consigner and to whoever ended up picking it up. We got another Captain America, this by Kieran Dwyer from issue 363. This one went for just over $2,000. Had a very low estimate, up to 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, solid page here. I mean, let's see what we got here. Was this one we looked at? I don't think we looked at this page.
No. This was a sleeper, and then not. This one jumped up there.
Yeah, low estimate because of the content.
No Cap, right?
You know what though? Dwyer created Crossbones,
right?
And arguably, there was a little run there in the late '80s, Captain America with D-Man and Diamondback, but arguably, it's between John Walker and Crossbones is probably the most significant of those characters. And with appearance in the movie and he's got a cool costume. I think that's what drove this page. I would have loved to own it. It was all those Dwyer pages did pretty well, and I think that's kind of indicative of that era kind of picking up steam here. So whoever got this, it's one of those things where it's like, well, that's a great price. But then you look back on it 2 years later, like, man, I should have bought all those. I think that's what's happening with this era.
Well, obviously a couple people saw something in it, or it wouldn't have gotten where it ended up. So that's solid. So
it also shows, no matter what the estimate is, it's up to the bidders to really, in the end, decide the item's value. Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Where it goes is where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great page. Let's see here. So next up, another piece that just went for over 2. Overestimates again. This one's Don Newton, World's Finest page. Let's get this one highlighted here. Yeah, the last panel though doesn't.
Wow.
Oh, and an end page too. Yeah, I mean that's, getting an end page or a title page is always top on a lot of people's lists. So that was a bonus for this one.
The Wizard, Mr. Mind. It's good character count.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
see
good page.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
So another piece finished close to 2. This is a Sal Buscema Daredevil 140 page.
That's cool.
Yeah, this is a cool page.
Very
Yeah.
dynamic.
Who wouldn't want to have this, in your collection? I mean, if you're a Daredevil fan or not, I mean, this is just a nice Sal page here. Great inks, and this was Jansen. Yeah, it was Jansen. That's what I thought. You can just tell by the inking style on the page, but yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, that 4th panel again. It's killer.
No, that worth the price on that one. And what year was that? Oh, 76. Okay, Rafael Lopez SB. So what do we got? Red Sonja, Spanish comic book cover. So this is the one we looked at when we did the preview. This one went for $16.50.
Yeah, I think this is the most we ever got for a piece of SB art. We've had quite a number of pieces over the last year or so. I've got a contact in Spain that has been finding them. This, as soon as it showed up, I thought it was interesting in that the fact it's Red Sonja, yet she's blonde on the cover.
Right.
This kind of what you get with SB art. Sometimes it's a dead ringer for the U.S. version of the cover. Sometimes he does his own interpretation. He will sometimes even take a couple of panels and mash them up on the cover. And then there are times where it's a similar cover, which this is, but with coloring drastically different. Usually the coloring is background or costume. It isn't the namesake of the character, but it is here in that Red Sonja decided to become a blonde.
I'm getting Golden Age vibes from this one.
No, well, I like SP's work. So,
oh yeah,
and I've seen these covers before. The recreations for these, and I don't know, they're always kind of cool. I mean, I think it's just nice to see different takes on covers.
They're so good. You know that they were American, they'd have another 0 next to them, if not more.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but it doesn't take anything away from them being,
no, not at all.
On reprints and foreign reprints. I still think that they're highly desirable. Really, many of them are really well done, like this one. So, yeah, it's
how long was he working, Alex?
Forever. I mean, we had some covers this time that were, I think, 90s trade paperbacks. So the bulk of his Marvel work, I think, was in the 1970s, and he did a lot. But for decades after that, he was still doing professional work.
Yeah, forever. Lots of covers.
Not just Marvel. We did some DC stuff. He did some other titles. He did some paperbacks and some horror and some sci-fi and fantasy. And so he very, very prolific.
Yeah, he's very definitive.
As far as I know, still out there within at least the last year or so, was out there doing commission work.
Good for him.
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, good style and yeah. No, that's it. But again, this is a nice piece. It really is. The blonde, it's okay. What do they know in another country? I
like the stuff like that. That's offbeat and different, and
sure. Let's see. Next one, we've got a West Coast Avengers 60-page, Paul Ryan. This one went for $1,400, so about 50% over your estimate on it.
I think that all came down to the content too. This was,
oh yeah, I mean,
great characters, great storyline. So I'm not surprised it went over estimate.
No.
Put this in the same boat as the Dwyer stuff. I think it's just emerging. Good art is going to keep emerging from this era, and this qualifies.
Yeah, I really like Paul Ryan's work a lot. I mean, I don't own anything by him, but I've always been impressed by his work, and yeah, the content of this piece with Scarlet Witch, and you get Magneto as well, and Quicksilver. I mean,
yeah,
what more could you ask for? I mean, it's a West Coast Avengers page, but it's really cool.
Scarlet Witch in her 80s, Falcon Crest / Dynasty kind of costume, right? For anybody out there that even understands that reference.
Yes. No.
Kelly, you get that reference?
No, he doesn't.
I'll get that.
Yeah, I always, for me, it's always funny, like when with costume design, you have to put a W on there for, Wanda, and even, Magneto's kind of even got an M in a way on his chest. It's always kind of funny. Superman's got an S on his chest, right? But I don't know why those archetypes are always needed in costume design. They really shouldn't. You don't always have to have an abbreviated piece out of somebody's name, to make it make the character known. I mean, that's Magneto. He doesn't need an M on his chest.
I think he should go on his forehead.
I was going to say, there are some characters even have that are as preposterous as putting a letter on their forehead, right?
I beat you to it, bud. I stole it.
Yeah, like the first letter in the alphabet, right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah, no. Well, but it's just what we were so used to, right? I was looking at some stuff the other day, and a character had an X on his head, and I'm like, that's just so silly, but that's what we did. Yeah, Rick Welch mentioned Hawkeye too. Yep. So anyway, great page, definitely a great page. And Paul Ryan is somebody who, like I said, I really wouldn't mind getting a piece by Paul Ryan. I don't know from what title or not, but I love his artwork. So nice piece to have in the auction, and not surprised at the result on that one at all. So now we're getting into some pieces that you guys were surprised about. And those color guides, right? This was from Amazing.
This was all shown here.
Man, I told the consignor, I told Alex, told Kelly, I said, I don't know what this is going to do. This is the wild card of the whole bunch. It's got the whole set. It's got the whole story. It's got the Ditko cover. It's got the Kirby and Ditko cover. It's kind of covers all the bases. It is vintage, and the content is incredible. And it could also be factored in that, the lack of availability of the originals, makes this all the more attractive. Kind of similar to, like the action color guides from the 70s when they redid it. Those go for a penny. And I think if they were together, it'd be kind of a similar situation. So I was pleasantly surprised by this. Again, playing the Friday morning quarterback, I like to pat myself in the back, but I figured $5 to $8 grand was probably what I was thinking. And I would have been happy with that. So the fact that it doubled up on that, tripled up on the low end, it's fantastic. I'm very thrilled by it. And again, I don't think you can go wrong with, you're picking the most iconic Marvel story, arguably, of all time. And that I'm saying that as a Captain America fan. It's just it kind of defined the whole Marvel universe. So it's just great to see these. Reading the story, like before I sent them, I read it. I'm not gonna lie, I flipped through it.
Well, now they know. But yeah, no, these are cool. So they went for this one for $15,500. I should have said that to start, but color guides are kind of coming into their own a bit. When you think about production art, a lot of people are turned off by the acetates and the black and white production art, but color guides are still pretty unique. I mean, somebody's hand touched them, even though these are the art's photocopies at the end of the day of the line art. You still had somebody actually go in, color these, write in all the color codes. So even though they're a part of production, they're a unique part of production that that isn't, it's not part of the printing process at all. And so it's, pre-printing, I should say. So it's just interesting. And, and it is the artist's work. I mean, when we look at these, the other ones from the X-Men, it's like, there's colorists that made their livings being colorists. And so this is their only work that's out there in a physical form. And so, it's taken a while for color guides to kind of come into their own. I mean, you can still buy color guides for $15 to $25 to $30, but when you can buy complete stories like this, or get a color guide from maybe from an issue that you're really fond of, or maybe you own the original of. I mean, you're going to pay a little bit more for those. So I'd say, like you, Sean, I would have been expecting that 5 to 8 for something like this. So, but to get it at 15.5, that's choice.
Yeah. Everything you just said, I agree with. I'm going to stay mum because I said it last time. I don't want the competition. Give me another couple of years. I'll buy every color guide I can find.
Mm-hmm.
I said that, Sean, though, after that result, I would say you probably would be foolish.
Yeah, I should have started in 2015.
Any other
Yeah.
auction house but us. Yes.
Yes,
I would agree. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
For anybody listening.
Yeah, we had. I did a show with Ed Hannigan, right? Well, it wasn't a live sales show with Ed Hannigan. We sold the art. We did an offline interview with him because of just a situation, and then we sold some pieces that he had available in a live claim format, and he had a 5-page color guide set to like a Miller Daredevil. Either it was like a closing or an intro, and I forget the exact price, but I think it was $2,800 for that. So good stuff. Especially when complete, is going to get going to reach some pretty good figures. So,
well, the bottom line is when they're complete, and this is how I collect stories, is you put them in a binder, you can read them like the book. So you have a comic book, and yet it's the only one on the planet. Very,
very true. So then you had 2 X-Men complete books, the one to 106 and another one for 108.
Yep.
This was the 106 one. It went for $34.81. But hey, it's X-Men. I'm a big X-Men fan, so this is a fair price. I would, honestly, I would have thought it might have went a little bit higher, but then the other one happened and it did really well. So
this was a deal. I think that
this was a good get at the end of the day.
It's one of those things where it's an emerging market, so no one's going to cry about making $3,000. That's for sure. But for what it is, it's definitely. I'll tell you right now that after the auction, I was looking at some of the comments and some stuff, and someone's like, "Yeah, the Masterworks X-Men's there," and it's not really what this is. It's both. This is the original and the Masterworks. It slipped through the radar because of that. Because it says Masterworks on it. People look at the picture, they don't read it, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's Masterworks." Well, no, and that's how someone gets a deal. But the bottom line,
read the descriptions, kids. That's why we do them.
Absolutely. Like if this didn't have Masterworks on it, we're having a different conversation.
Right.
So again, it's a huge win, great piece. Again, no one's losing sleep over $3,000. That's a great color guide price for sure. But that's an iconic book.
Yeah, and this 108, one of my favorite X-Men stories of all time. And so this is again a good buy for whoever picked it up.
It's also so the difference between the two is this is not the original cover. This is the Masterworks reprint cover with the original story guides.
Got it. Yeah, man. Again, one of my all-time favorite X-Men stories. So,
agreed. That whole run, man. So, the whole run is key. Even if the book isn't labeled as such, just every story is fantastic.
Yeah, Claremont, Byrne, and Austin and whatnot. They were all on it. Cockrum with some later stuff, but that's fantastic. So nice pickup for whomever got it, and I'm sure the consignor was very happy as well.
Indeed, I was very happy for that too.
Oh yeah, and this was the Batman 243 complete color guides. You had 24 pages from this one. Went for just over 4,000.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man. That was just out of curiosity. Same consignor, different consignors, or
different consignor from the Marvel. Yep. Same consignor as the Neil Adams color guides from the previous auction.
Got it. I was just curious if it was all like, because color guides aren't something that all art collectors pick up. So I was thinking, well, it could be somebody who's just out of focus.
Yeah, we've done very well with our color guides. That's kudos to Hakes. And I'll tell you what, if you are a collector of color guides and you want to sell color guides, I am a fan of color guides. I collect color guides. I personally love them. And that actually ends up, people bring their stuff to us because of the relationships a lot of times. And I do them justice. I will. I'm not in the office. I can bid at will, and I bid on a lot of the Marvel stuff. I knew the Neil Adams stuff was going to go further than what I wanted to go with it, but the Marvel stuff, yes. So I'll do everything I can to boost that part of the hobby if you have them. I am a champion of color guides. Unless you're bidding against me, then you probably don't want to.
Right, exactly. But just stay away. Let's see here. And here is the complete to Batman 244 color guides as well. And what was the price on this one? I missed that. $57.44.
Strong.
Yeah.
I just what if those came to market 8 years ago? What would that go for? You know what I mean?
I mean, there's like take away a digit, 500, 800.
Wild.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if they'd hit 1,000. So, for sure. I mean, it just wasn't there. I mean, right now with the way the art market's going, that's why you see prelims going for higher than, much higher than they were, 4 or 5 years ago. Just things that, what can people get that they can still afford?
Accessibility. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, this wouldn't have been at 1,000. It would have been 8, maybe. Because how many pages was it? 16. So at best, $50 a page. For sure.
Rick's right. This is an iconic issue. So who knows? I mean, 20 years ago, Silver Surfer went for a pretty penny. But in general, color guides, man, it's exciting to see and also bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Color Guide.
Yes.
If the Masterworks Amazing Fantasy 15 brings 15,000, what does the original? What would the original? Even one page, splash page.
See, here's the problem with that. Is that not a problem? It's benefit to it is the originals are you're never getting them, so that's going to up them. If the originals were out there and these were the color guides, they'd still go for a ton. But the fact that you cannot get anything else, it's going to drive them into a stratosphere that can't really be compared fairly to most other color guides.
Right.
I think that the whole story goes for 6 figures easily.
Easy.
And
Yeah.
I think it's going to be high 6 figures. And as silly as that sounds, talking about it's just color guides.
But I mean, it's color guides for Amazing Fantasy 15. It's the
I don't even know. I'll let you know when I sell mine, but it's pretty wild.
Well, Sean, you can attest to this too. Most people don't even get to see the original pages from AF-15 in person. Very, very select few, correct?
I know. We should talk about this every auction because it was
We
super. I was very privileged to be there.
I'm just saying because I saw them. Did you?
I did.
Okay.
Like I said,
Hey,
I was on
Kelly.
the VIP.
I'm hoping to see them this fall.
I mean, I would love to see them too. I think that would be fantastic.
Not just Bill.
Oh,
You're busy that day.
I'm already busy there. I'm already
But yeah, I hope to see them when I'm at the Baltimore show, one way or another. After the show, I think is what I'm planning on.
Yeah.
So I think that was all the art we were going to look at. We were going to look at some of the interesting. We got a couple toy pieces that were noteworthy that you guys wanted to kind of point out.
Yeah. So as we talked about, Bill, after the last show, we've kept this just about art, but we sort of all agree that there's cross interest and certainly superhero toys, even more cross interest with comic book collectors and so forth, and we sell all of that as well. So I thought I'd throw in a couple pieces here as show results, and then next time as we do a preview, then we can preview and then we'll also compare. And
hold on, see Stanley's question.
No, what was that?
Sakes prefer older or newer art, published or commissioned art?
All of the above.
Yes.
My answer, I'll answer as a fan. I prefer published over commissioned art.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, published over commissioned for sure. Older or newer, that just depends on the content, artist. That's a very open question, but published over commissioned if I had to pick.
Yeah, and there are obviously exceptions. Like if you have the Russ Cochran 70s Alex Schomburg cover paintings, then I'm going to say yes, I'll take those commissions, please.
Right, or any Kirby pencil drawing of any period, you'll take. You'd want
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it all depends, but overall, it's just a general rule of thumb. But ultimately, I think the best answer I give Stanley is, rather than get in specifics, is I try to, like, for example, if we have 5 Captain America covers in one auction and you want to bring us to 6 Captain America, I'm going to tell you to wait to the next auction if you can, because I try to be as strategic as we can with how we're presenting things to maximize the value. Because one of the things I like about Hakes, and it's kind of a good segue into the toys, is I like the variety of it. We do not bury things at the expense of other things in the auction, unless the consignor demands it. Like, if they have to sell it, then we're not going to tell them no, but we will try to strategize as best we can. And it really comes down to a case-by-case basis. I think that if you have a Star Wars piece, you bring it to us. I think we're the best in the game. I think our Superman results are fantastic. And obviously our color guys are showing up quite nicely. And then obviously, Bronze Age Marvel, it doesn't matter where that goes. Everybody's going to bid on it. They're all going to see it and bid on it. So it's going to go where it's going to go. So I think it comes down to what's in the auction to best strategize, how we're going to do things.
We are always upfront with every consignor, and we let them know what we have or what we don't have. We don't just take something and the next thing you know, there's an auction and they have 5 other pieces competing that they did not know about. So transparency is king with Hakes.
Yeah, I know a lot of, I've spoken to consigners before who get disappointed when their piece gets diluted with other, whether it's the same artist or it's the same title, those sorts of things. They would have rather known and postponed selling a piece or consigning a piece just for that reason. So, the last thing you want are upset consigners.
Yep.
It's not good for a long-term business strategy, for sure.
No, Kelly can attest. There are many, many times where we have purposely held off on doing a full collection or part of a collection, whatever, and told the consignor, this is why we're doing it. We are maximizing these items for you. Would it be great to front load an auction and get all the money up front? Yes, but at 25% less if we spread it over 2. No, don't do that.
Right. And you guys, different than a lot of other auction houses, you do have kind of a fixed schedule. You only do 3 major auctions a year. It's not like you wedge in a specialty auction for some reason. You really kind of curate that auction over, in the 4 months in between each auction. So it's a lot of work. That's why you have the big catalogs that go along with them. But yeah, if a consignor came to you, you're just not going to be like, I'm going to do Bill's special auction because you've got such a great toy and original art collection. It's going to get put into these 3 times a year auctions. So you don't want to dilute it.
That brings up a great point that I wanted to talk about too. And people ask me all the time, because I'm the art guy. They say, hey man, why don't you have an art auction only, a specialized art auction? I say no, and here's why. You're staring at it with this Green Goblin. You want the people that spend $80,000 on a toy or $200,000 on a boba to also cross over into your art. And it doesn't happen in other auction houses because you're getting a different breed of collector that don't just look at comic art auctions. They don't care about them. But if they see something that strikes their eye, and it happened with that Mad cover a couple of years ago, it happens every auction. Like, they see something they're not really into, like, man, that's super cool. I didn't realize it. And they go after it. And you're getting cross bidders. It doesn't happen elsewhere.
And to piggyback off of that, Sean, and you know this story very well, and it involves a good friend of ours who will remain nameless unless you want to reveal it, but who had a great Kirby page on their table, Loki content. I loved it. Kelly loved it. We said, like to put this in auction. And I think it was 5,000 to 7,000, something like that. We put it in our auction. We get 12 to 15,000, right? So well over the asking price. And this went to a bidder who is a tried and true political memorabilia collector who never bid on any piece of art before or since, possibly. But that page, for whatever reason, struck a chord with him. So yes, this cross interest happens all the time. We have plenty of collectors that stick in there, stay in one lane, political, art, toys, whatever. We have just as many collectors that have multiple different genres that they collect, or that will just jump 1 out of 5 auctions and buy something totally unexpected. So yes, a great point of why we do these kind of all-in-one auctions is just to have a little bit of everything, but a lot of everything for many different people, right?
Exactly. I mean, the fact that we have an auction catalog compared to some places that do not have an auction catalog. But if you would get auction catalogs from other auction houses, you might only get comic art, or you might only get firearms, or whatever you might bid from them. But if you bid from us, you learn about new collecting categories you may not have even thought you wanted. And that puts this in front of people that wouldn't even think of it. And it helps educate bidders and collectors that there are other things to collect besides where you started. And so many people I know, and I've seen, Sean has seen, Bill's seen, we've all seen many people's collections. Some people's collections are very, in the lane of one category. Then I've seen collections of, an entire Hake's catalog and beyond. So you can learn new categories exist by getting, yes, behind you, right? I see it right there. Like you can learn, and people tell us there are people who collect our catalogs, consider them a collectible because of how much information is in them and how much diverse collectability and items are in them. So to put what we have in our catalog in front of more than just comic art people is paramount.
Yeah, it's key to our brand. I agree.
Yeah, I think it is. And I feel like there's a fifth person who hasn't said a word. His name's Green Goblin. He's just been staring at me.
Yeah, exactly.
He has been just hanging out.
He has a lot to
in
say.
the background.
He does have a lot.
I don't know anything about the Megos at all. So so $76,700 is a good price for a Mego.
It's okay. It's a little low compared to what most Megos bring. This is a world record price beyond. I think 16,000. We held 16,000 as a world record price for a 12 or 16,000.
12,000 for a Mego Robin removable mask.
Yes,
many years ago. I think outside of auction houses, the next thing would be eBay, and there might have been a sale in the 20,000 range for an Aquaman shark set a while back, decade ago.
Then private hands, around the 20,000. And I've heard of numbers higher than that, but not publicly.
Yeah, like the Greatest American Hero stuff and stuff like that.
This beats anything I've even heard privately, from what I understand.
But not a surprise when you look at all the variables, right? So it's the only graded. It's one of only a handful. When I say handful, I mean 5 or less, right, on this card. This was a figure that existed for many years in the Mego line, but in a window box. Mm-hmm. And then they transitioned into blister cards as this figure was getting phased out. So not many made it onto a card. Few remained on the card. This is really, I hate to use the term Holy Grail because it's overused, but as far as Mego goes, this is a Holy Grail piece. So it will be, you may not see another one for many years, if ever. You may never see a higher graded example.
You will not. No, you won't. Yeah. I did hear, out of all the examples, this is the nicest. I've heard this from many people who have seen the others, or some of the others. This is the nicest example to come to market. Graded or ungraded, the nicest example. So that's why it did so well. I was in a collection for 20 years. Along with the other great Megos we had in this auction. So,
and a lot of hype leading up to this. We debuted this on social media to see what kind of reaction. Kelly got a bunch of offers right off the bat for 20,000, give or take, which we obviously turned down because we're an auction house and we put it in an auction. We don't take.
It got a lot of attention right away.
Yeah.
It was.
Is this one of the 11:30 ones? Did it run late into the night? I mean. Getting a lot of
I don't remember.
Yes,
this was.
Okay. I thought it did because it's one of those things where that's the benefit of the clock resetting is people start looking at their credit cards and trying to figure out what they're going to do to win.
They start selling things and you have a little more.
They've got a $76,000 limit on their credit card. They don't have a lot of worries in life. I got a business card that it might be around 20 now, but
they can just sell they can sell their 8th car or something and see if that
but that's a good return on investment. It was originally priced $3.33.
A whopping $3.33. Yeah.
Right. That's crazy. I do think when I was a young lad, I think I got a Mego for Christmas once. I think I got. I can't remember what the heck I got. It was either a Spider-Man or I can't remember what the other one was. I just remember that it was a Christmas morning thing, and I tried swapping it with my brother's Mego because I didn't like mine, and my mom told me that Santa put the right one on my side and made me give it back to my brother. So it's the one and only time I tried to cheat in life, and my mom caught me because,
Wow.
Bad karma.
Yeah.
We're bringing up the old stories now. Yeah.
That's a low point in my life, trying to do that. But I learned my lesson.
It must have been DC.
Over on your mom.
Was it a DC Mego? Marcus?
No, it wasn't. That's why I can't remember what the other one was, and I don't remember. I don't think, because I wasn't a big Spider-Man fan. I think I got the Spider-Man, and I don't know what my brother got, but like maybe he got Thor or something like that, and I just
probably got the Green Goblin on the card, and then you
right. You probably got the
exactly. You opened it up for 333.
So yeah.
No.
Oh well. Live and learn. What are you gonna do? But that was my first and last experience of trying to do something like that on Christmas morning. So, again, that's pretty good.
We're accepting Megos on consignment if anyone has any,
especially Green Goblins that are great.
On the card is key. But yes, and there's another one after this on the card, I believe.
Oh yeah, right. This one was 7,000.
Yeah. Also rare, just not in the league of Green Goblin.
Yes. The other and the other equally as rare as Green Goblin is the Iron Man on the card, if anyone wants to know. But that one is another grail. Yeah. Right. Rich. Most there are few who have come across.
I've seen one that was destroyed and it made me sad.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen images of just one carded opened with the figure next to it. Sold
I'll tell you that story sometime, Rich. It was pretty.
Green Goblin is not the rarest Mego. Is it the rarest Mego? No, technically no, but it's in the
on the card.
Yeah. On the card,
in the window box, no. On the card, among the rarest Mego figures.
Yeah, there's some foreign things that get a little odd, but then there's the solid box Megos, which are another. They're unicorns because they just don't come up as well. And that was dumb to make a solid box because I couldn't see the toy, so that lasted all of a month, maybe 3 days. Lasted on the shelves, and things weren't selling, and they had to put windows on them. But
how rare is it compared to the Pocket Batmobile?
Rarer. I don't know as far as numbers, but it's definitely more rare.
Yeah.
That and the Iron Man on the card, they're just the same transitional period. They're both there at the same time. But the Lizard's another one that came from the same consignor, same collection. Did very well.
Derek's right. The Aquaman with the shark. Not only is it rare, it's also super cool.
Oh, it is awesome. Yeah,
that's a cool toy. What a way to circumvent copyright laws.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, Aquaman artwork doesn't sell well on our channel when we do claim sales or whatever. For whatever reason, if you bring Aquaman art, it's a guarantee that I'd say you have about a 5% chance of selling it. I don't know why. I don't. Because I don't think it's a bad character, but as far as my audience goes, they're anti-Aquaman.
I think a lot of that art has water damage, so that's part of the problem.
What's the next thing you have there for us,
Bill? What is the next thing? I've got two things here.
Heartburn time with the puppets.
Yeah, these little.
I had a spot on my.
What do we got? Two Marvel, two DC puppets. Now, of course, the Marvel puppets sold for more.
They're all equally rare. And Wonder Woman, actually, based on the other ones, brought less than it should have. To find these in the bag with the display header card. Some of these also came boxed, but in the bag they're super rare. Spider-Man went out because of popularity of character, but Green Hornet is just a crazy one because of the thin vacuum formed plastic hat that it has. I mean, none of these were meant to survive, certainly not in the packaging. Mm-hmm. The person that consigned all four bought them off of the rack when they came out in the 60s,
Not
It
even
was
off the rack. Look at that. They're not even punched.
well, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, not
it's just
correct,
at
but
the store,
even,
right? At the
even
store.
cooler. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying that's even better.
But he was a comic book fan, and he bought related material. So again, you talk about cross interest. So he was buying comic books, but he was buying this stuff. The golden record sets we have with the comic reprints this time, or this last auction, came from him. He stored these perfectly from day one. So you just they're rare in this format, but incredibly rare to be in this high grade.
For sure.
Yeah.
The puppets, they tend to slice the bottom of the bag by the way they're designed. So that's always prevalent. And then obviously the cards get dinged up all the time.
Yeah. These were just cared for from the moment they were purchased. They were cared for.
Yeah.
Like, this is why they did so well. It's unheard of from things from that.
What is the store tag? I do like that little facet of retail toys.
Oh, there you go.
The Kresge's?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I believe so.
Is it Kresge's? I have no idea.
I believe so. Yeah.
I said Kmart, but I don't know.
I think that is. I'm going to say I think that's Kresge.
I think that's a Kresge. Yeah, it's similar to Kmart K, but I think that's a Kresge K.
Kresge. Interesting. We didn't have Kresge's in Ohio that I know
of. Sean, do you have art on calf?
Yeah, I haven't updated in a long time for what Alberto said earlier.
Stanley's asking if we have art on calf. I know Alex does. Sean does.
Yeah. I just started mine. I have like a dozen pieces, but under Alex Winter. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know how Sean spells his name these days. Is that how it's on your license, the way you have it spelled there?
No.
Not his license plate that way.
That's years of childhood trauma.
Oh man. Well then, so good prices on those. Like
yeah,
you said,
the puppets were
very rare.
They were fantastic.
Yeah, that one hurt me to lose that one.
You were going after the Captain America
for sure, man. I was in it. I
thought you got that for that cheap price. You didn't get that? No.
$6,700.
No, it wasn't
player. You have to talk to your boss, Sean.
Good Lord. I was in it for like $3,000.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we appreciate your bids. You always need underbidders. Always need underbidders as much as you need.
Yeah, I'm still jealous of that. It's gonna hurt me forever when I never see one again.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, so this is the last piece that they had. Again, it's a Batman bobblehead, Japanese bobblehead, no less. Went for $10,500.
Yeah, the last one we had many years ago was in the 4,000 range. It's just one of the rarest bobbing heads, period. Sports, non-sport, highly desirable in high grade, and then to have it in the original box, it had everything going for it. So,
yeah, it's cool.
And we would hope that this price would encourage the consignor to give up some more of his great pieces. So
yeah, maybe even some original art.
Yeah. So
wink, wink.
Yes. Sorry, but yeah, this did very well.
But this is a great price. So
yeah,
well deserved though. It really is. I mean,
thanks for sharing it too, man. This is exciting.
What's that?
I said thanks for sharing this. I love talking about the toys. Just love of
this is, you talk about rare. This is only the second in Hake's 55 years. So, and we specialize in Batman toys for decades and decades. This is one of the top rarities of 66 Batman.
And this is great cross-pollination of bidders from, there are bobblehead collectors who would consider this one of the rarest bobbleheads in their world. And there are Batman collectors who consider this one of the rarest Batman collectibles in their world. So there's the two serious collecting communities bidding against each other, which helped it get to $10,000. So I think that's something that is it's not just specific to superhero bidders. Like, we reach all of them. So
well, it should be pointed out that the toy company manufacturer this got his lipstick just right. That's the perfect Batman red lip.
I don't want to know how they applied it, but I think it's on there right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like Station 7 on the assembly line. Nobody wanted to work.
Yeah, I'm not too sure that the actual bat symbol is perfect, but it looks okay.
Yeah.
Is that
It's
a
like a
bat
moth
or
symbol. It is a moth. I think it's a moth, but
Mothman? Right. Still, for
nothing wrong with it.
$10,000, he's looking pretty good. Yeah.
Right. But there is definitely from my experience with people on CAF. I mean, there's a lot of people who do collect toys and who have an interest in them as well. I mean, there's lots of statue collectors as well. So there is a lot of cross interest in that. I hate bringing up Berkey all the time. We did a walkthrough video recording of his house, and we went through his toy room, and people literally, in the comments came back and they were like, could you just go through the toy room?
Who designed that room, by the way?
And have Mike talk about each piece, because there's a lot of people interested, and especially when like you guys were saying, it's the superhero references, right? It's got a whole room full of Spider-Man toys, so people want to know what the heck they are, and so there's definitely a lot of cross interest there. I mean, I was a little surprised in packing up here at the house, all the little toys and things that I've like stashed away, all the little Pez's. I must have had a dozen Marvel superhero Pez dispensers laying around here. I've got my Marvel Comics lunchbox. So you just pick up those things over time, right? I mean, as part of your hobby and going to comic shops, or when you're at a 7-Eleven and getting a Slurpee cup or something like that. I mean, you love.
We've never grown up. We have not in any way.
Right.
No. There's toys everywhere. There's toys in here. There's toys everywhere. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice too when you're packing it up, Bill, that the toys are the hardest thing to protect? So
they are. They're the one thing I had a wrap. Most of the other stuff I'm just putting it, willy-nilly into boxes, but the toys I had to wrap every single one of them.
Yeah, and
some of us even have our own, still have the childhood toys that we play with as a kid in our office. They're still, with them every day. They're right back there.
Had those since you were a youngster, Alex?
The Star Wars figures, yeah.
Yes, the original Star Wars figures.
Original Star Wars figures, yeah, when the original movie came out. Right? I can't say first movie or somebody will jump all over.
They're from the first 20 release.
Yeah, there was no New Hope. It was called Star Wars, kids. That's it.
Yeah, it was called Star Wars,
and it was episode 1. No, I hear you.
Originally called Star Killer, but then Star Wars. If you want to,
I wasn't, I didn't collect too many toys early on, so I missed out on that stuff. So I didn't have any Star Wars toys. All my friends did, though. But I don't know. I spent all my money on comics, so the toys weren't big for me early on.
I thought you liked models.
I like models too. I had a lot of models. I burned a lot of models. I used to like to just make my own war stuff in the in the back sandbox. Yeah, like I'd put firecrackers in the.
Sean has the Jar Jar Binks collection. That's the one.
No Jar Jar in this office.
Yeah, Sean's his collection really is remarkable.
I like special ones.
Sean, I'm learning a lot about you every time we go on the show together.
Too much.
These are things that you don't tell me, when we're hanging out in person.
That chapter will not be in my biography either, I assure you.
Are you ready to show us your Jar Jar tattoo, or
sometimes?
Maybe not allowed.
Sean, you can show everybody at the con.
Somebody out there has a Jar Jar tattoo that just is very offended. Right,
I'm going to get a thumbs down on this video. Thanks for that.
Sean, not everybody has it on a lower back like you.
I know.
This tramp stamp.
Not even the voice actor does.
No.
Oh my.
Anyway.
Well, so you're taking consignments now. Do we have a date for the next auction yet, or is that something
we're going to say it's going to end mid-November?
Okay.
Mid-November. Leave it at that. Right now, we don't have an actual date, but that's pretty much narrowing it down to a time period. So
that doesn't mean get us stuff mid-November. That means get us stuff now, because it is a long, drawn-out process of advanced promotion, but getting things ready for the catalog for getting layout done, getting the catalog to the printer, and so on and so forth. So the deadline is really end of September, correct?
Yes. No.
Really, mid-September.
Before the end of really this month, middle of September. I'd like to have conversations starting this month.
And that's the key too, is we're going through everything right now, trying to catalog it so we can market it properly for our clients.
And just strategize, amongst what else is here. There are consignments here. There's consignments coming. So to strategize that the best. But really, the sooner the stuff's here, we use CAF as a huge marketing tool. The longer it's on CAF, the more people know that it can be for auction.
Right.
Correct. We do lots of print ads, which have a long lead-in time. Previews, we put ads in that. So yes, it's not like get us the item at the very end of the process and it just goes into the auction. That can happen, but get it to us early and we can maximize what the potential of that item could do with lots of fanfare leading up to the event.
Right. Multiple conventions are coming up. So we'll be marketing at those. And it just takes a lot, a lot of work. But it's
right, because you got New York, you got Baltimore, which I assume both of those are kind of in your wheelhouse for
they are
working on details right now for both. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we are.
Well, I
Sean,
get to see you guys there.
A convention with us?
Yeah, I miss it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll talk about it.
You might even get a Hake's shirt, or something.
Oh yes. Yeah. Hake shirt, hat, and tattoo. But
for a very low rental fee, Sean.
All right, we'll negotiate.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, you guys know I'm happy to push out any PR you guys need. Consignment emails. I'll take those, Kelly, whenever you got them. I'm happy to let people know when you got your deadlines coming up and whatnot. And so you just let me know how I can help out on that in the future, because I'm here. That's what we're here for. I'm always happy to hear that we're doing we're driving new bidders to your platform too. And
we look at the analytics all the time.
To hear.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes,
all right. Well, thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight. And I got no show tomorrow night, but I'll be back on Wednesday with Mike and Anthony for one last time before we hit Columbus. So tune into that. And any of you going to Columbus, I know we'll have a good time. Sean's going to be there.
Word up.
Yeah. You'll be at the con on Saturday, but that was it though, right? You have to leave.
No, I'll be there on Friday. I'll be at the.
You'll be at Billy Ireland too.
I just have to leave around noon on Saturday, so I'm only gonna have a couple of hours.
Okay.
I got the company next to, so
it'll be a good time. I think we're gonna have almost 50 people there, so it's gonna be a good turnout. I think I'm a little surprised.
I've been hoping this would happen, so kudos for you guys for putting it together.
Yeah. No. Well, thank you.
Ohio needs it.
Yes, it does. All right, Kelly, John, Alex, and Sean. I'll be in touch. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and of course, we'll see you again.